Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, it brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing today? You and your loved ones. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Glad you're here together, and I am excited to be here with you. Thank you indeed for joining in, and we have a lovely book to go with today. Thank you so much for joining in. Please let us know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. I am super glad that we're here together, and I hope that your day is off to a great start. Whether it is very early right here in Oakland or on the West Coast, or indeed maybe somewhere on the East Coast, or indeed even further out, maybe somewhere in Europe. I hope that your day has been awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Today we get inspired, we learn, we keep learning from the amazing Bob Marley and of course Cedella Marley, and beautiful pictures to boot from John Jay Cabuay. Thank you so much for joining in today. Get up, stand up. This one coming to you shortly, also from Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Big good morning to you. Welcome to Storytime. Time to get up. Time to stand up. Thank you so much for joining in. Of course, standing up physically, but also standing up figuratively. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you all. And indeed, yeah, let's keep shining. Let's keep being that lamppost. Let's keep being that example. Thank you so much for joining in. As you can see today from our beautiful picture, the Point Arena Lighthouse out there in Point Arena, California. Thank you so much for joining in. Glad that we're here together. I hope that you have a wonderful time with us. Thank you. And of course, we hope to see you tomorrow and the next day and the day after that, and many, many more days to come. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. And yes, thank you for making this beautiful community the wonderful space that it is. Welcoming space, a space that is meant for everybody. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for joining in wherever you are today. John Jay Cabuay, Cedella Marley, and of course, Chronicle Books of San Francisco with a book based off of the famous song by Bob Marley. Get up, stand up, coming up very shortly. Thank you so much for joining in, friends. I am so glad that you are here with me. And of course, too, we know Marietta Apollonia's release of Jack the Library Cat has been moved back to May 11th instead of March 2nd. So look out for that. May 11th, it is coming your way. So yes, still time to pre-order. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Let us see who is with us, ready to enjoy a wonderful story. Thank you indeed for being here with us. Good morning to you. Tara McNamara, how are you doing today? And of course, Erin and Clara out there in snowy Massachusetts. Clara has a snow day today and is home from school. Thank you for reading The Rabbit Listened yesterday. Well, thank you for the recommendation. Thank you for the reminder to read it here on Storytime. And of course, thank you for the beautiful book. And yes, and to see those that writing in the back, the signatures, I wouldn't have asked for a better copy. Thank you for your autographs. Clara and Erin. I feel so special. Thank you so much for sending it. Thank you. Appreciate you. And I hope that you enjoyed reading along with me yesterday when you caught it. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. Appreciations all around. Clara and Erin, and of course, Tara out there in Massachusetts. Thank you so much for being here with us. Good morning to you. How are you doing today? Nathan and Sarah in bright and blue and very wet Illinois. Oh my goodness. Please be careful when you're outside. Rubber boots sound like the way to go. Thank you so much for being here with us. Is it a perfect day for a book? Sarah, is it still the perfect day for a book? Thank you so much for joining us today. Absolutely appreciate you. I am glad that we are here together. Thank you so much for joining us. And yes, indeed, thankful for the little things, thankful for the roofs of our head, and of course, thankful for this community. Thank you so much for being here with us. Good morning to you. Soraya, how are you doing today? Right here in Oakland, where I must say it is pretty cold. It has been cold. There's actually snow in the vicinity of the Bay Area. Could you believe that? Yes, there is snow in the Santa Cruz Mountains and a few other places actually close here in Dublin, in Pleasanton, and a few other places in the foothills as well. So yeah, pretty cold out here in the Bay Area. Be sure to grab a jacket if you're going outside. And of course, very windy too. I think the wind has died down a little bit, but it is pretty windy out there. So please remember to carry a jacket with you. Carry layers with you. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Great to know how you all are doing. Are you ready for a book for today? Well, it is coming up very shortly after this break. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the other side. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Davis. I am a children's book author, illustrator, and high school art educator. I am the author of 30,000 Stitches, the inspiring story of the National 9/11 flag, illustrated by Sally Warren Comport and published with Worthy Kids # book group. One thing that drew me to writing 30,000 Stitches was the idea that people from all different communities came out to stitch this flag and make it whole again. So I hope that when people read 30,000 Stitches, they remember the power of sharing our stories. When people came out to stitch the flag, they shared their stories, whether about loss or pain or love. We all have stories to tell, and by sharing our stories and listening to one another's stories, we can create a better understanding of each other and create a sense of connection and unity. And this is what creates a more inclusive world. I hope you enjoy your story time with Mr. LaMotta. Bye, everybody.
Welcome back indeed. Thank you, Amanda Davis, for that amazing book. And of course, thank you for your message. And a world that is inclusive is what we're asking for here on Storytime, is what we demand that be there. Yes, we demand an inclusive world here on Storytime. And thank you for joining me in championing what's right. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Are you ready though? All right, here we go. Our story for today, based on the famous song, I must say, by Bob Marley, Get Up, Stand Up. This one written or adapted by Cedella Marley, Bob Marley's firstborn daughter, I must say, and illustrated by John Jay Cabuay. Yes, if you've seen John Jay Cabuay's work, you're familiar with it. You can see those the familiar illustrations. Thank you so much for joining us. Here we go. This one we're reading with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you indeed for being here with us on Storytime. Oh, I just love those colors. Love that illustration to kick us off. How about that for an end paper? Thank you indeed for joining in, friends. Here we go. Wish I could just hold the book on that page forever. It is such a beautiful one. And I'll read the dedications too, just so we're reminded too. I think they apply to all of us. They apply to all of you that are joining us on Storytime here. Cedella Marley says, to my loving mother and father who inspired me to always stand up and who showed me by their beautiful example how to help others do the same. And John Jay Cabuay says, to my Arika, my sunshine, my inspiration. Yes, You are sunshines out there. You are inspiration. Get up, stand up. Adapted by Cedella Marley. Illustrations by John Jay Cabuay. And we're reading this one with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. And it is based off of the famous song by Bob Marley. Here we go. When you meet someone talking big and thinking small, we met that kind of person before. When you meet someone talking big and thinking small, and their stinging words push your back against the wall, what do you do? Oh, yes. We all meet that person at one point or another. When you meet someone talking big and thinking small, and their stinging words push your back against the wall, what do you do? No matter the silly games that people play, you have hopes and dreams they can't take away. When their words bite, stand up for what's right. Oh, yes, indeed. No matter what silly games that people play, you have hopes and dreams they can't take away. When their words bite, stand up for what's right. Ah. Yes, indeed. Get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Keep at it. The fight for justice is an ongoing one. Get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Oh, yes, indeed. And I hope today, too, that we take a moment to think about those that are fighting on many different fronts for what's right in this world, whether it's the environment, whether it's the treatment of our LGBTQ plus colleagues, whether it is for women's rights, whether it is for our children's education. Thank you for your hard work. It's not easy, but you keep doing it. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Some people need to be the pond's biggest fish. They don't speak the truth and only want their greedy wish. Yeah, some people think it's all about them. But it's not. Some people need to be the pond's biggest fish all the time. They don't speak the truth and only want their greedy wish. Remember to be true, the best of yourself. Then you will be a friend to everybody else. Yes, it starts within. Remember to be true, the best of yourself. Then you will be a friend to everybody else. Don't just sit tight. Be a bright light. Yes. Are we perfect? No, but we can try our best. Remember to be true, the best of yourself. Then you will be a friend to everybody else. Don't just sit tight. Be a bright light. Yes, if you see something, stand up. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Yes, proud of you for turning up. Other people parade around with their noses stuck up in the air. They strut about all puffed up, only thinking for what they care. Yeah, we don't want to be like those people, do we? Other people parade around with their noses stuck up in the air. They strut about all puffed up, only thinking for what they care. But like another book that we've read here on Storytime says, there's a bigger big than you. Yes. There's so many of us that share this world. But if you know the value of what life is worth, you will find your feet firmly planted on the earth. Love with all your might. Be true to what is right. Yes, indeed. Some people think about only about what they care for. But if you know the value of what life is worth, you will find your feet firmly planted on the earth. Love with all your might. Be true to what is right. Be true to what's right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Be a good neighbor and cherish your sisters and brothers and everyone in the community. Practice being kind to yourself and one another. Yes. Remember to be kind to yourself. Be a good neighbor and cherish your sisters and brothers and everyone in the community. Practice being kind to yourself and one another. Yes. Practice being kind to yourself and one another. What you give in goodwill shall be returned back to you. Share your truth and compassion. Together, there is much we can do. Yes. What you give in goodwill shall be returned back to you. And it shall be returned 100-fold. Share your truth and compassion. Together, there is much we can do. Oh, this fills my heart for sure. What you give in goodwill shall be returned back to you. Share your truth and compassion. Together, there is much we can do. Yes, there's much to be done, and there's much we can do. So now we see the light. We are gonna stand up for our rights. Yes. Oh, do you see the light? So now we see the light. We're gonna stand up for our rights. Yes, indeed. And I hope so. I hope we do. I know we will. Get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. One love. Yes, indeed. Look at all the joy that comes from creating space for everyone in our community. Yes. And that is the end of our story. And very quickly, I'll read the back as well, just so we can get a little glimpse into Cedella Marley's thinking, and of course, some of her inspiration in deciding to adapt that amazing song into this beautiful book that we just read today. And it says, get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Standing up for yourself, standing up for others, and standing up for what is right are three very important values my parents instilled in my siblings and me when we were growing up in Jamaica. And as a mom of three sons, I felt it was important to pass this message of strength, compassion, and equality on to them. It was important for them to know that not every day would be an easy day. Yes, It was important for them to know that not every day would be an easy day. Not every person they met would be a best friend, and not everything would go their way. But they had to have the strength and courage to stand up for themselves when someone wasn't treating them with respect. It was also important for them to know that they must stand up not only for themselves, but for others when they saw someone in need or in harm's way. Very important. I'll read that one more time. It was also important for them to know that they must stand up not only for themselves. Yes, we stand up not only for ourselves, but for others when we see someone in need or indeed in harm's way. Adapting this song into a book for children was an emotional decision for me. It is a song that became an anthem for all those who struggle, a song that became a call for change with a message that continues to inspire everyone who hears it. With this book, I hope we've succeeded in bringing this message to readers in a different form, and that it inspires them to do the right thing, no matter how hard that might sometimes be. Very important message there from Cedella Marley. I'll be right back after this short break. Thank you so much for joining me on Storytime today. Absolutely appreciate you.
Hello, I'm Olalu Ogunyemi, officer in the United States Marine Corps and author of Crow from the Shadow. You are tuned in with my brother on Storytime with Mr. Lamada. Enjoy and God bless.
Welcome back indeed. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I hope that we've been inspired. I hope that indeed we enjoyed that wonderful book that we had today. This one coming to us based, of course, on the amazing song by Bob Marley. It is Get Up, Stand Up, adapted by Cedella Marley and illustrations by John Jay Cabuay and read with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. As always, a big thank you to them indeed for allowing us to share such amazing books here on Storytime. And of course, looking forward to many more. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. The spring collection is coming out and I'm excited to share that with you. Yes, indeed, we'll be putting in a request, of course, to see all the amazing work that is coming up this spring from Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Talking about books that are upcoming, well, we do have an amazing book that is coming up, and this one is Jack the Library Cat from Marietta Apollonia. Yes, our very good friend here at Storytime, and the book is coming out May 11th, 2023. Find it at your local library. Find it where you find books. Thank you so much for joining in today. Excited for that one indeed. And remember too, that Storytime, we do go around telling stories, reading books, and indeed sharing many wonderful being in community with many wonderful people. So if you know this is where you can find us. Find us at Storytime. Bring Storytime to your space. And of course, we are more than happy to join you. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And let us see one more time who was with us enjoying that wonderful story. Good morning to you, Soraya, right here in Oakland. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Indeed, the most wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Thursday. One more, well, this day and tomorrow. Few more hours of today and tomorrow, and of course it'll be the weekend, and I hope that you get to enjoy that. Thank you so much for joining in. Sharon Lungo, good morning to you as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Nathan and Sarah, thank you indeed, out there in bright blue and very wet Illinois today. Well, thank you so much for joining in. Please do stay dry, do stay warm, and continue enjoying those amazing books. Thank you so much for joining us. Amanda West, hugs to you. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. And of course, staying home today, snow day. Perfect day for reading, perfect day to enjoy with family, perfect day to laugh and indeed think about, maybe even listen to that Bob Marley song. Get up, stand up, dance along to it, listen to it, and again, get inspired. Thank you so much for joining us. Clara and Erin out there in snowy Massachusetts, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, I hope that you enjoy this day at home. Thank you for being here. Thank you for a recommendation for a book that we read yesterday. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Have yourselves a wonderful day. So Niwe Ngwenya, how are you doing, my sister? Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Yes, all the way out in Lusaka, Zambia. Well, I know you travel a lot. I hope you are in Lusaka today. Thank you so much for joining in, and I hope that you and the family are doing well. Thank you indeed for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And for everybody joining in too, I must share, Sonny Ngwenya and myself went to the same high school, 5 years at the same high school. And yes, very good friends, dear friend indeed. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Appreciate you. And I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. This has been Story Time for today. And of course, we're back tomorrow with another exciting story. And this time we'll bring back one of my favorites from Zita Elliott and Purple Wong. And this one is called Milo's Museum. So join us tomorrow and find out what this one is all about if you do not know it already. But if you do, of course, it is always good to go back on our books and read them over and over again and enjoy them some more. Thank you so much for being here. We do that for movies. We do that for songs. Why not for books? Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. So tomorrow we visit Milo's Museum. Join me and let's have fun together. Thank you so much for being here, friends. Absolutely appreciate you. I will see you again tomorrow for more Storytime. Much love from me.
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? We just can't wait to be hearing